Good morning. Happy Sunday, Ryan. Happy Sunday, fans. It is the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast. And unfortunately, it's another not so victory Sunday. And I'm
Getting too
kind of
many of
Ryan.
those. Getting too many of
Yeah,
those.
but I will say this. I will say this. On this one, Ryan, I don't feel as bad. I don't feel as bad as the other not so victory Sundays, you know what I mean? Because it was the number 5 team in the nation, and we did compete for a little bit, right? So
You must have processed better because I feel like last night you were hot last night and you must have
no,
slept on it and said, all right.
no, I wasn't even upset last night. I was sending those things for our show tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
just so we could recap those things for our show tomorrow because I have an idea of what I want to talk about tomorrow on how we have a lot of missed opportunities. So I was just giving all those missed opportunities so I wouldn't forget. So that was more notes so I could know where I could go and get
I like
those
it.
notes. Yep.
I like it.
So throw your questions in there, throw your comments in there. USC
I have a
falls.
feeling I know what most the comments are going to be today, per
All right.
usual.
Well, I am going to tell you guys this right now. I'm going to tell you guys this right now, and this is a factual statement. It was said in a press conference that our own Ryan Dyru was there. Alex Grinch, as of right now, is not going anywhere. So the fire Alex Grinch thing, we're not going to talk about today. So if you want to log off, because we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about the fire Alex Grinch thing. We could talk about how we make the defense better. We could talk about what can we do better. But as of right now, Lincoln Riley has said himself, nobody's getting fired. So this is fact out of Lincoln Riley's mouth. So we'll just go from there. You know what I mean? Like
he said we'll address that when the time is right, which probably means at the end of the season. So,
what's
but
that
I
then
do
is-
believe he will be gone. So at least
You think
there's
he'll
that.
be gone? So he changed
Yeah.
from after the Utah game when he said we're here for the long run. So it might have changed. So I was going off the we're here for the long run comment. So he may be. But as the next 2 games, Alex Grinch will be there. So we could talk about Alex Grinch getting. We're not going to beat this dead horse. This horse is now a skeleton, and I don't want to beat up the bones. Right? We could talk scheme. We could talk how do we make the defense better. But firing Alex Grinch, we just can't talk about that right now because we know that situation. We're just going to keep talking about it. So it is what it is. Anyway, I was going to say Trojans lose 42-52, right?
Yep.
Back and forth game. I told you we was going to have to take a breath, right? So it was what we expected. We can't say that. I will say this, Caleb, it's all over the internet. And there's been a lot of stuff about Caleb, about how he doesn't care. He's only into himself. He cried. And, I mean, he left it all on the field yesterday. And I wish he could have won. And just so he could start, they could start talking about him in the Heisman race. But I was happy with his performance yesterday. He had the fumble. People make mistakes, man. I'm not going to kill him for the fumble. But 4 touchdowns, 316 yards or 62 yards. He was back into his form, so that's great. We just got to stop people on offense. You know what I mean? We just got to stop people on offense. So, what are your thoughts about last night? We're not going to get too much in it because we're going to talk about it tomorrow night. But just what are your thoughts about last night, real quick?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't on the previous show, obviously, so I didn't get to talk to you guys too much about it beforehand. But my expectation was, this defense is what it is. So we can talk all we want about how you make it better, but my expectation is it's not going to get better. So I went into the game like, hey, if we get 1 or 2 stops and Caleb in the offense plays good, let's have an open mind. We can have some fun. And that's what we got. I mean, it was a fun shootout game. It was frustrating as hell watching the defense, just ineptitude. But, the one takeaway I think I took from it, opposite of what we'll get into with SC, was, I mean, Washington's defense is almost just as bad.
Yes.
That is a pretty terrible defense also. I mean, the holes were gaping for the running game. Receivers were wide open. The big plays were aplenty. And so that's what makes this game unfortunate that SC lost, because Washington's defense was pretty much just, I mean, I can't say worse, but they were just as bad.
I actually got into an argument with somebody in the comments. He was like, how can you compare USC's defense to Washington defense? I'm like 95 and 90, I mean, 96 and 110 is the exact same thing. Once you get that low in the rankings out of 133 teams, your defense is bad. Like Sometimes people
But
just don't listen to us. Like we never said, "Oh, SC's going to outright win" on our preview show. We said this is what they need to do to have a chance. Like you guys have to start listening to what we're saying, right? We're very realistic. So like this is what they did some things and they did have a chance. They weren't the better team. Washington was, and they played for a longer period of time, right? I say that all the time. Better teams play for longer periods of time, and Washington played better for a longer period of time last night. You know.
yep. Yeah, and once again, I said this at halftime that because he go into the half with that brutal fumble that gives him a touchdown, which is unfortunate. And I said, the only way SC has a shot at winning this game, going down 7 and Washington gets the ball, is in the second half if they get 2+ turnovers and the offense plays absolutely perfect, scoring a touchdown every drive. And it almost came to fruition. They get that lucky pick in the end zone on the first drive, and they hold them to a field goal, which is almost like a turnover in this game. And SC played perfect except for that last drive where they get the holding call and then had to punt. So I mean, it comes down to that. If the offense played perfect, we may be singing the tune of a victory here. But unfortunately, that's not the way it went.
I will say this, and I don't care. You could call it excuse. You could say whatever you say, and it's been happening since I played at SC. Every time the game gets kind of close, and then it like a drive needs to happen, phantom flags start to come out against SC. It was a clean game the first half, very few penalties, and then all of a sudden we get big plays, and then phantom holding, phantom PI. I'm like, one of the holding calls. It was a holding. It was a holding, but here's the thing: a lot of people don't understand. Like the rule is, it has to affect the outcome of the play, right? That holding that they called, there's no way it was going to affect the outcome of the play. It was still a first down, regardless. You know what I mean? So, like, it's
unfortunate. And I think Deuce Robinson played overall. I mean, he's a freshman. He had that one critical drop that was the other one punt SC had, but then he had the blocked punt, making up for it. And I thought he blocked his ass off all day long. And it's an unfortunate play because I mean I played some receiver too back in my pretty horribly talentless playing days, but I did. And when you're locked onto a guy blocking, and then the guy or your own player runs by you, so then the defender naturally is going to turn for him, then it all of a sudden becomes a hold. But he was blocking correctly, and he was making the gap for Taj Washington to get the first down, and then just naturally as he runs by, the defender is going to turn, and then it becomes a hold. So I'm not saying it wasn't a hold, but it's just unfortunate because it was a good football play by Deuce Robinson, and obviously it took a touchdown back and gave them the ball back where they could just salt it away.
Yeah, I mean, Deuce did play well. If he catches that touchdown, like we might be talking we might have a different tune. You know what I mean? And it happens. He's young. I'm not going to sit up here and say he's an 18-year-old kid. He's young. It happens. You know what I mean? But he catches that. We're talking a whole different game, right? You know what I mean? So it happens, and he made up for it. Like you said, the block punt, he played well, and this might be his coming in the stride. Next year, Deuce might be the guy. You know what I'm saying? So he had that long run that they called back to. Like, Deuce, you'll be all right. I'm not going to get on Deuce for a drop pass. One drop pass compared to all the other things you do outweighs everything. So that's perfect. You want to hop into some of these questions? You want to start at the top?
Let's get your brother on here first. I gotta say, I am actually watching that game, and this is what I love about, I think, college football in general. And it's, it's hard not to, but I know everyone looks at, oh, look at this team beat this team, and now this loss looks worse, and this looks this, but every week is so different. But looking at last night, I'm like, I'm actually shocked that this Washington team was able to stop Oregon. And I know it was still a 30-point game, but I'm impressed Washington beat, and obviously it was a home game, and that just shows how important home field advantage is in college football today.
Yeah, how does USC stop Oregon from running 600 yards? Oregon won't have 600 yards; they'll have 350. So that's how we're going to stop them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll tell you how they stop them. It's the fact there's only 60 minutes in a football game. That's how they don't get 600 yards. That's about it.
Yep. But I will tell you this, and I told them this last night. They play on Pac-12 after dark. Weird stuff happens on Pac-12 after dark. You know what I mean? Weird things happen. So
I know. Get that 7:30 slot now.
Or go back to that one. The one, Oregon will put up 60+ points against USC. I mean, USC could score too. Like, let's not forget that part. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
the only reason and this is Oregon. I mean, this is going to be from what we've seen, this is going to be a bloodbath. And we'll get into that later in the week. But the only reason why I don't think Oregon maybe puts up 60 is because they play a little bit more balanced, methodical offense, and it
Yeah.
won't be just a shootout. Like, I mean, last night was your shootout, and it still only
Right.
got to 50, only got to 52. So
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, SC is. What do you think we look like next week at Oregon? Um, we'll see. We'll talk about that. Watch the show on Friday. We'll talk about that. If you watched last Friday, man, I was so close. And I'm not trying to be big head or anything, but I was so close, and they were at some points to where it's like, all right, if they just keep doing this, we have a chance. Like I said, we were talking about this before. So when Washington kicked the three, and we'll talk about this more tomorrow. Washington kicked the three. I mentioned that. I say, hey, if they go down and get a field goal, that's the point where Lincoln Riley needs to control the game, and he did not control the game. I would have ran the ball a little bit more. What there was three runs in that drive, and that holding got him, but I would have ran it a little bit more. Like right there is where you needed a long drive to score, and they didn't get that. So it is what it is. I don't understand why Riley's always gets away from. Hey, man, you are preaching to the choir. Raider Trojan, we're in the same church. Just turn around in your pew, and we're back there with you, waving at you. We was looking at that too. Let me pull that up. Box score, and we were Barlow 2 for 44. That's it. He averaged 22 yards a carry. 22 yards a carry. Austin Jones, right? Austin Jones had a good day. 11 for 127. They ran for 203 yards. And sometimes they just abandoned it. And this was the time to run the ball because Washington's defense couldn't stop a nosebleed also. So if it was me, I would have ran a lot more. 27 carries? I would have been up in the 40, 50 range trying to keep Michael Penix off the field. You know? So
I mean, this is not at all defending Lincoln, because it doesn't make any sense. But for whatever reason, this is kind of just college football, or not even college football. This is just football now. I mean,
football,
the NFL that we talk about the Rams all the time with Sean McVay, and all of a sudden they don't run the ball. It's like they just decide to have Stafford throw it 40 plus times. And we talk on our Rams show, me and Skinny T all the time, like, you run the ball 13 times. Like, what are you doing? Like, if you run it 30 plus times, they're almost undefeated this season. So
yeah,
it's kind of just the day and age of football and the offensive mind where you just want to get past Haffy. Now, on the other side of the ball, to Washington's credit, they never run the football. They're a pass happy team, and they decided to run the football last night. And guess what? Record day for Dylan Johnson, 250 plus yards, 4 touchdowns on the ground. Michael Penix had it. I mean, Michael Penix looked great. He had a very just kind of mediocre 280-yard day. Wasn't anything crazy because they ran the football.
Actually, 256.
256.
And an interception, right? So when you look at it, Caleb and Michael Penix played about even. They both had a turnover. Their completing percentage was pretty good. You know, they had a pretty even day. That was the show we expected from both quarterbacks. So yeah, you want to go to the next question?
Yeah, real quick on that. Just a question for you.
Yeah,
tons of scouts and GMs at that game. I saw the Broncos GM, the Giants GM, scouts for almost every team to watch. There was
50 scouts. They said it on TV. There was 50 scouts, and I missed the number of GMs. So there was 50 scouts there. I don't know how many GMs were there.
Yeah, I saw them all in the press box. And to SC's credit, because I know I was telling you about credentials, that press box was completely full. There was not a seat left. It was a packed house with a lot of scouts. But for you being a coach, I know you're not necessarily a scout, but I was thinking this the whole time, like, how do you actually assess that quarterback play? Because, hey, Caleb and Penix looked great, but they're going against defenses. It was basically a flag football game. So, like, how do you really, like, scout those two players when you're like, well, there's really no resistance there for him?
Well, you can still take a look at them and you can see what they do, right? And then, so when I was recruiting players, I wanted two game films in particular. I wanted a blowout game, a team that they just outmatched, and I wanted a team that was a struggle for them. I want to see how they play when the talent is bad, and that was more of an effort type thing.
Yeah,
like, do they always play hard? And then I want to see how they play when the back is against the wall and when they're grind. You know what I mean? And then I start looking at all the other things. I will say this, and I will say this. A lot of times the NFL gets caught up in the media hype, right?
Yep.
Caleb Williams might not be the best fit for the number 1 pick. Michael Penix might not be the best pick for the number 1 pick. Drake May might not be the best pick for the number 1 pick, right? A lot of NFL teams are failing to fit somebody in their system to what they already have. And they want to go, oh, we're going to build around him. But when you start building around him, there's already established NFL teams. And then, oh, the quarterback's not any good. Well, you're not putting them in a good situation, right? This is a year I want to see, like, let's put these 3 potential draft picks that are supposed to be good. Let's put them in the best situation. Right now, the best situation for Caleb Williams, honestly, is the Bears. The Bears is the only team right now I see.
Because they're going to restart.
They're going to restart, and then they're going to.
Not to cut you off. Sorry to cut you off, but he got hammered for this, but that's to Caleb's credit. Kind of when their rumors came out, that's kind of what he was saying. Is like, I don't want to go somewhere I'm not going to fit and it's going to ruin my career. Like, I want to build something together. So to his credit, that's kind of what he was saying back in the summer.
Yeah, and that system already works for him, right? If there's a system that works for Drake May, then you know what I mean. And we'll talk about this once in, like, when we start talking about NFL draft stuff and all that. But I think that's where the NFL fails a lot. They just draft a player because everybody loves him. Well, he doesn't fit in your system, so it won't work. Like, you know what I mean? And then it takes 4 years to build there takes time to build an NFL team because there's a money issue, right? So you have to deal with those types of things. So that last night was perfect. You got to see Caleb play. Caleb was playing. Caleb was trying to put the team on his back. So our players can't shed blocks on defense. So, man, I was talking about this last night with my brother, and he feels the same way. But I also feel like the picture that I sent you, when you rap and all of a sudden you got a guard in your face, the guard's rapping for you as for the linebackers, or you're in a one technique and there's nobody covering the guard to at least get hands on them so you can rock back and play off that down block. Like, it's a little hard. They're not in the best situation possible to shed blocks, right? And here's the thing too. They have no edge. And this is one thing I want to figure out. Are they spilling? What spilling means they want the ball to bounce, or are they forcing everything back in? I see the backers a lot just taking on blocks head up, not forcing the ball either way. So that's kind of a thing I want to look at. So I don't think they're in a good situation to take on blocks. Rushing ran for 199 yards before defensive contact. Yeah, tackling sucks. The tackling is bad. I can't even. The defense looks so confused when other teams does not. Yes. So Days Jonah. That is very good. Yep, and that's so. You want to know the biggest problem with the defense? And Ryan, you already know. I told you this about 30 times. The defense is too complicated, right? And anytime a team looks that confused, the defense is way too complicated. You know what I mean? Like, that means they have a lot of checks and a lot of things going on that they can't just play. You know what I mean? If you motion, like for me, if they motion in the straight shifts, we're just bumping the backers and adding one more to the box, right? That's simple. You know what I mean? Nothing hard, nothing. They're moving a lot on motion, and it confuses them. And yeah, it's the defense is just too complicated. That's why they look confused. Anytime a defense looks confused, the defense is complicated. It's not basic arithmetic. It has now become calculus.
Yeah, and we've seen it all season, right? It's always tons of conversation going on, guys waving after touchdowns, whether it's Caleb Bullock or Max Williams, talking to someone like, you weren't in your right spot or this or that. So whether or not, we've heard players say, like, coaching is good, like they're putting us in the right position, we're just not executing. Well, as a coach, you got to say, okay, they're not picking up this scheme and doing it right. So should probably friggin' change it and make it simpler.
Let's just get rid of it. That's a simple solution. Yeah, let's just get rid of it. I agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So
if Grinch is not going to be fired, at least try to take the clipboard and headset away from him. Let him ride the sidelines and be an observer. I wouldn't even want him to be an analyst.
Can't get any worse.
Know. Yeah, I don't know.
Who do you have to call the D if they do that? You have Dante Williams call the defense?
Oh man, I hope not.
Or Coach Nua.
But at the end of the day, so here's the problem, right? And there's only 2 games left. Like, you can't change the whole defense. You've done it the whole season. You have to ride this thing out. As much as you guys want them to be gone,
yeah.
Tell me right now. Put it in the comments. Tell me right now. If we fire Grinch, what is the solution with 2 games left? Right? If Grinch is fired today, what is the solution? The defensive scheme's not going to change. It's going to stay the same thing, right? So there. I
think
mean,
what people can look forward to is after the UCLA game, after the Victory Bell game, then you fire Grinch, and then we can see what they do in the Sun Bowl. see a different DC in the Sun Bowl or wherever they are, Vegas Bowl or Holly Bowl or LA Bowl, whatever it may be.
I mean, you guys, I don't think Grinch is going to get fired. I'm gonna die on that hill, and if he does, more power to him.
I'll tell you off air. I'll just say this: I've been hearing things that it's going to happen.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm not going to say who or what or why, but I've been hearing things that it'll happen before next season.
So he's in a corner now. So all right, then that means Jen is different than what I thought she was, because I thought she was just happy with being the Penn State of the West. Let's win 10 games and stay competitive.
I don't know if it's coming from her. I'm not putting anything out there. I don't want everyone take that and run with it. But I just say I'm hearing things that it'll happen.
Yeah, definitely. More questions, more comments, guys. Let's keep this thing rolling. We appreciate them. Hey, so while we wait for some more questions to come in, we kind of killed the questions because we ain't talking about fire Alex Grinch. We'll talk about it. Fire Alex Grinch. Let's fire Alex Grinch. Alex Grinch needs to go. Like I just can't beat that horse anymore.
Let me ask you this, Al, because I'm in the press box watching the game. You're watching on TV. What was like the broadcast saying? Because I mean, obviously this is a shootout game, no defense on either side. It was an ABC game with Chris Fowler and Kirk Herbstreit. What were they saying? Were they tearing down the defense? Were they just talking about it was a great, fun offensive showdown? What was kind of the broadcast saying?
Everything. They were just saying this is everything we expected. This is great. This is great by both quarterbacks, and like Caleb Williams played his heart out, and Michael Penix is playing. At one point, there was like, we know whoever's going to get the ball last that's who's going to win the game. Like, even Fowler said, when Washington had the ball, like, you don't want to give Caleb Williams too much time because this game could change instantly. So, yeah. And then he's right. They started talking about scheme. Herbstreit started talking a little bit about the scheme, and like he did say at one point he said, I just don't understand what they're doing. Like, it just doesn't make sense.
That's like the ultimate like Trojan sword in the heart.
He was like, I don't know what they're doing right here. Like, he was just trying to figure it out. So I mean, it was crazy. So
no one does, Kirk. No one does, Kirk.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. I want, and this is something that everybody could look at. If the Trojans have Washington's record, are we talking about firing Alex Grinch? Because I'm not deep into the Huskies fan base and things like that, but nobody's talking about getting rid of Washington's DC, and Washington's defense is bad.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they have wins over Oregon and USC, so I guess that cures a lot.
Yeah, so let me ask you guys this: if SC's 9-0 right now, they just beat UW, they beat Notre Dame, they beat Utah.
Well, and here's the sad thing, Al. Like, if USC had Washington defense, which is bad, they'd probably be 9-1. Like, the Notre Dame is a loss. Like, they played horrible, 5 turnovers. That's a loss. But you lose by 2 to Utah, and I know this was a 10-point loss, but obviously it shifted at the end there. You'd be 9-1 if you had I'm not even saying a competent defense. I'm saying a defense that got you 3 stops, 4 stops. You beat Utah. You beat you're 9-1. But I still think people are saying fire Grinch. I still think that even if you're 9-1, I mean, last year everyone was saying it all year, so I don't think that's going to change. But the scary thing is, if they were 9-1, the administration might not be saying fire Grinch. Where I think now they're like, all right, we're making moves.
Okay. Yeah. What do you guys think? Tell me what you guys think. If we're 9-1, we could talk. Let's talk a little Grinch now, and I want to give you guys some scenarios. Yeah, that is true. Seattle is pretty much all of Washington. Other than that, it's just apple country, and when you go Eastern Washington, it's wheat fields and like in the Palouse and everything. But you guys chime in on this. So let's say we're 9-1, and we still have this defense. Do we keep Alex Grinch? Are you guys saying fire Alex Grinch, or are you guys just happy with what's going on? Knowing, here's the thing too. I want you guys to know this. Knowing this is Caleb's last year, and Miller Moss is possibly our starting quarterback next year. And I'm high on Miller Moss. I'm high on both quarterbacks. So answer the question. Do we keep Alex Grinch if we're 9-1? The broadcasters acted like We were the only bad defensive team. They were so negative to us, but never critical to Washington. That is true. That is
Is
true.
it?
They just
I was
thought that
curious
Caleb.
about that.
Wait, but here's the thing, Lamont. Think about this, right? Think about this one. If we win that game and the media thought that, and the media didn't think that Washington defense was bad, we win that game. What does that do for Caleb and his performance? So that might have been a silver lining, but we just needed to win.
Let me get this before it gets too far away. This is while everyone's answering your other question,
Yeah.
you can answer this one.
Question the scheme is clearly too complicated. Question the scheme is clearly too complicated for the players we have. What I see is the players have too many options they have to think about. What's the easiest way to make changes now? I have a show. I don't remember what week it was. Do you remember what week it was when I first brought the whiteboard up, Ryan?
I can find it. A couple weeks ago.
We have a show when I first brought the whiteboard up, and I said what, and I said this is what I would do to change the defense. It might be before Notre Dame. It's a Tuesday.
What we should do. It's probably too late now, but what we should do next year is we'll do our normal Victory Sunday. We'll do our Monday and Thursday show, and then we should just do you should just do a 15-minute Wednesday show just called like Coach's Corner. And it's just that's where the whiteboard is. We should do that. Then it's easy. It's all in one place. But anyway, different discussion. So, go ahead and answer the question.
So I pretty much drew up what I would do as a defensive coordinator to make everything simple and how you talk through adjustments and things like that. So if you go back when you go back, Lamont, make sure you subscribe and like and tell 2 friends so we could get a gold plaque next to that mirror behind Ryan. So I have a show about the defense. It'll take too long right now. And if you ask Ryan, once I start talking football, I'll keep you guys here until 12 p.m. So just go back and look for that show. And it's like our first whiteboard. It is our first whiteboard show. Let's see. All right. So
if just really quick, if you make it just a 2-week change, you just go, hey, we're just running man all the time, or you say we're running zone, we're running cover 2 all the time.
I'll still stay in match. I'll still play match coverage because here's the thing about match coverage. Match coverage is you don't know if it's man or zone, so we'll stay in match, and I'll put the numbers in the box. We still don't have the numbers in the box, and so I'll play match. So real quick, the rules against match is I take everything vertical and out, right? So 5 yards and over, I take it. If they run it out, I take it. If they do a 0 route, which is under 5 yards, I give an in call, and then I start to zone off. Right. So you start to like, hey, he was in zone. I thought he was in zone, but he wasn't. And it gets a little tricky. Nick Saban runs match too. So I'm a big match guy. So that's what I would do. And I'll make sure if they have 5 in the box, I'm gonna have 6. If they have 6 in the box, I'm gonna have 7. I'm always going to be +1 in the box. Mm-hmm. Let's get to that Grinch question. We're 9-1. Would you guys want to keep Grinch? Are we to believe that if Grinch got sick and couldn't coach, we will find a solution to fight on and just give up because Grinch is not around? I'm not saying that per se. It's not so much a giving up. I'm more saying like, how much time do you have to change the scheme, right? So if we got rid of Grinch, the guy that's going to be the interim defensive coordinator is probably going to run Grinch's scheme, but it'll be probably more at a basic level. They might add some of their stuff in, but it might be so basic. But it's too late to make a complete overhaul, if that makes sense, Antonio. Like, I'm not saying like there's nobody that's on their staff that's better, which probably is, but I'm saying to make a complete overhaul right now doesn't work. At this point, just throw darts at the defensive player and call what hits can't be any worse. That's a good one.
I don't disagree.
That's a good one. I mean, like I said, the simplest thing to do, just put the right numbers in the box. No one would be thinking if we got to the CFP, we would lose by 60. I do. I said a while ago, we're not a college football playoff team.
No, he's saying to your question, if they were 9-1, would you still want Grinch? And he was saying no, because we would lose by 60 in the CFP.
Oh, I got you. Oh, no. I'd be thinking, okay, I got you.
That's where a punctuation would have been key.
I had to put the comma there, the comma right there. That's why I don't write for LAFB. That's why I don't. Ryan asked me, do you want to write stories? I was like, no, Ryan, you'll be doing a lot of editing. This is the reason why, because I would write the same question like that. We need Jim Leonard. So, hey, Ryan, there you go. Leonard has the top.
He better be top on the list. I'm trying to find something while we're getting a few more of these questions in.
Yeah.
That this is the true, I think. I mean, obviously, Grinch's in-game play calling, I can't find the exact stat, is pretty horrendous. But
Yeah.
what's most concerning for me is, and this goes back to his press with the media of 2 weeks ago or whatever, is his either lack of tape
Preparation.
watching, whatever it may be. But it was something like against Washington, or when Washington played Arizona and Stanford, who they struggled against. The offense actually got, or was it Arizona State? I can't remember. But basically
Arizona State. It was Arizona State. It was in Tempe.
Against the blitz, Penix was poor against the blitz. He was like 4 for 18 or something. And they were able to slow him down. SC, I think, only blitzed last night like 4 times.
They can't blitz though. They can't.
But they were effective.
I hear you, but
so why not? If that's working, nothing else is working, Coach. That's the thing. Like, throw the kitchen sink at it. Here was the thing that I noticed sitting up in the bird's eye, is they were so concerned with giving up the big play that they were just allowing Washington everything short of the stick or right at the sticks and in the middle. They're like, all right, we'll just give it to you and let you just march down the field because we don't want to give the big play. But then they still gave up the big play. It was like 17 explosive plays or something last night.
Yeah.
So even giving them everything and keeping guys back and only rushing 3 or 4, they're still giving it up. So then let's just rush 6 and play man and see what happens.
Hey, so and you remember how Jamal was like, we should start running a 3-4? Last night was the reason why we can't run 3-4, because we don't have the defensive lineman to run 3-4. Like,
that's very true.
What I mean? Yeah,
they couldn't do anything with a 3-man front. They couldn't get any pressure.
Let's look at Lamont's question. My thoughts here's my thoughts. If we go into Oregon with Grinch as a DC, what does that say to the players? Sometimes you make a move to show you see the flaws and you care. Make the move to improve morale. And Ryan could justify on this. A lot of the players are saying that it's their fault. Like, they're not executing. Like, a lot of the players have Grinch's back, which is weird, because if I played, I wouldn't. I'd be like, man, this scheme is awful. But a lot of players have Grinch's back, so it's kind of weird. I get what you're saying. I understand what he's saying. He's like, hey, set the precedence. Like, hey, guys, I'm going to get you somebody better. But it's not from what we see from the players in the press conference, it's like, nah, it's our fault. We're not executing. Like, they support Grinch, which is
what I'll say on that. 2 things. Because I covered the team when Clay Helton was here, or the last year when he got fired. As bad as it is right now, and I'm not sitting here saying like it's a great culture or whatever, but as bad as it is, this team still fights their ass off and plays. Whereas in the Helton era, you could see they were done. Like, it was over. The players were checked out. It was done. They were not playing for those coaches. So that's one reason why you don't do it yet, is they're still fighting. And then 2, and this is maybe just coming because I used to be more, I've gotten way more into college now covering this team, but I used to be more of an NFL guy. The difference for me is, you don't have it's not like the NFL where, okay, well, I have a 5-year contract. Like, let's fix it now and set a precedent. Half this team is going to be gone next year. So, I mean, they're not going to be on this team anymore. And so you kind of have to, you fire a guy midseason. It's almost like you're setting up that player for even worse success, as crazy as that sounds, just because it's like, okay, well, I have 2 games left in my college career. Like, this doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And so then Grinch also has the buyout.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. And a big buyout, because if Lincoln's on 10 years, that means Grinch is on 10 years also. So, assuming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yep.
Imagine realizing that last year was Grinch's high point at USC. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing I could say to it. Like, if we were 9-1, CLR would be the same. What's CLR?
Coach Lincoln Riley.
Oh. Lincoln Riley would be able to say we're making progress and Grinch would not be on the hot seat. This was the best outcome to make sure Grinch is out next year and to make Lincoln Riley focus on defense. I would say Lincoln Riley is not going to focus on defense. I will tell you that, and this is why I will say that. You ready? He comes from the Mike Leach How Mummy tree. Grinch was at Washington State, right? And their defense wasn't great. And you remember I sent you that article, they messed up the wristbands and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He went to Ohio State. He got fired at Ohio State. And then Lincoln Riley went and scooped him. So that little air raid coat is is that little air raid coat is protected for some reason. Once you're in the circle of trust, you're in that circle of trust. So that's my opinion on him. Here's my question.
Yeah.
Justin Wilcox knows the conference, head coach. Things aren't going well at Cal. Very good defensive coordinator. Do we go get Justin Wilcox from Cal and make him the DC?
I mean, I'd take him, but he just got a contract extension, didn't he, last offseason? So, and you're not going to go from head coach to DC unless you get fired.
Okay.
Right. But I would take him. I mean, if Cal moves on, he was DC here before.
Yeah, and then you get him you get.
I know people will say,
too.
"Oh yeah, you'll get him for a fine price." I know people say, "Well, Cal doesn't have a good defense," but you look at what he has to work with. I mean, they said it even on the broadcast last week. Like, Cal's not getting USC players. I mean, you gotta build something around 2- and 3-star recruits. They have, obviously different standards in terms of academics, enrollment and whatnot. So it's different. I'm not defending him as he's had a good coaching career there, but I think defensively, as a mind, he would be a huge upgrade.
We even got a duck helping us out. Look at that. You want to see us get better, Kenny? I appreciate you. Peter Sermon. We talked about him.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say? Cal's DC Oregon guy. He's a good coach. Oh, so he must have been his coach when he was at Oregon.
There you go. I still like the SMU guy too. I still like the SMU DC.
Question: is Damani the new Biggie Marshall? All the hype coming in, but never coming close to realizing that. Hey, that's a Long Beach Poly guy, so I'm not gonna let you get too high on Biggie because Biggie's still in the NFL. Anyway, what year is Damani?
Sophomore.
True sophomore. True sophomore. So he's 19 years old. He's 19 years old in a complex defense. That right there last night of what Damani was doing shows how complicated the defense is. So am I going to say a 6'2", 200-pound, 19-year-old corner who's, I think, potential-wise, I'm not saying what he's put on the field, but potential-wise is very good. He's like an NFL caliber corner.
Yeah, he's got all the tools.
Is he the issue or is it the scheme? Because it wasn't skill that's throwing him off. It's him not being in the right place. So that shows how complicated the defense is. Let's put him in a simpler scheme. And let's see how good he really is. So that's where I'm leaving with that, Lamont. I don't think Damani's bad. Potential wise, I don't think he's bad. And I never thought Biggie was bad. Biggie was just I mean, I don't know. That's funny because Biggie's name is Iman and old boy's name is Damani. So like, that's irony. So I don't think Biggie's bad. Biggie's in the league playing. So that shows you how good Biggie really is. Like, so yeah. Washington could. Oh, let's look at this one. Oh, Rick. I'll throw it up there for you. Washington couldn't stop the run, much less the pass. So Friday. Oh, Rick, go look at our show from Friday. And that's what I said. They're legit playing themselves. I said SC's legit playing themselves. And we were talking about where they have the opportunities to win the game. That's 100%. Where's Candace? Eddie wants to know where Candace. Candace, they're looking for you.
It's in church.
Candace is at church today. And
she'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, Candace will be there tomorrow. Candace is in the middle of a playoff run. So hopefully we can get her.
That is not like a high school team. Those videos she sends of her team. Oh man.
That's what Polly used to look like.
That's true. Paul, that's not what my high school team looked like.
Yeah, Candace is in the middle of a playoff run. She's trying to win state. We didn't get rid of her. She's here. And I'm pretty sure she's going to take over the show tomorrow. So we have to get ours in, and then we're just going to let her vent. I have a few questions. Sure, Lamont, we can answer your questions. I hope you don't mind. We don't mind at all. I believe the way Lincoln Riley used Relique last night, all but still him hitting the portal. You should have played Relique and Zach and to show you have a plan.
The
Yeah.
Relique usage is interesting. It is
Yeah,
a bit
so
odd, since he didn't play since week 1. So there was questions of redshirting him. Then now
he could still redshirt. He can still redshirt because he hasn't used up all his games. He still has 2 more games to play.
That's true.
Here's my issue with Relique, and it's one issue, and it's not terrible. The fact that he's like 5'8", $170 or something like that, right? Potential, ceiling, satellite, space. I'm not taking anything away from a bad player. You need a bigger back for in between the tackles so you can run power and things like that. But if you want to use Relique like that and you get another back to complement him, yeah, I mean, it should be Relique. Relique should be great because Marshawn Lloyd, is he a senior?
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe
Lloyd will be in the draft. Jones will be gone. But you got Quentin Joyner, who's I think going to be really good, and then Relique is just kind of your. I mean, Relique technically moved to the receiver room this offseason, and then but he's like a gadget guy, right? Like you can use him kind of all over.
So now you got 2. You got Zach Branch like that, and you got Relique Brown. Like, I mean, that's scary to scheme.
Yeah. Now that I'm thinking more about it, the usage, it seems like he'll be back next year, not transferring. I think that had to be the conversation. Like, hey, we're holding you out. We see you. There's just too many mouths to feed right now, but we'll see you back next year, kind of thing.
How vital was this game recruiting wise?
There's a lot of big recruits at this game.
There was, and they put up a lot of points, right? So, and Kenny, comment on this, and let me know if you feel the same way. Me, and this is my opinion, as an 18-year-old, if I'm watching that game, I played defense. I came out, went to SC, got recruited as a safety, played linebacker. I was a defensive guy, right? If I'm at that game, I'm saying I'm coming to SC. My parents get to see me play, and I'm going to start as a true freshman, and this is my shot to go to the league. I could go to SC, and I'm better than these guys already right now. You know what I mean? Even though Caleb Bullock is an All-American, I could be better. I could do better than what Caleb Bullock is doing. Like, I'm going to start as a freshman, and he'll be gone, right? And there you go. Caleb Bullock is gone. Is Max coming back? Because Max played last night.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Right? So, like, I have opportunity to play, right? So if I'm a top recruit, I'm going to SC. I can start as a true freshman. You know what I mean? So that is my opinion about recruiting. If I'm a receiver, I'm going to SC. If I'm a quarterback, I'm going to SC, right? I got Cliff Kingsbury, quarterback guru, Lincoln Riley, quarterback guru. If I'm an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman, I'm going to SC because I know those guys aren't good enough and I could go in and start right now. You know what I mean? That is my mindset on recruiting. How soon can I play, and where is the best possibility for me to play? Well, here's another thing, real quick. NIL. NIL is a big thing. There's a lot of money in LA, and it is Hollywood, and I could easily be put on a commercial. I could be sitting frontside Lakers. I could throw out the first pitch at Dodger Stadium. I could do a lot of things and make a lot of money in LA.
Yeah.
Right? So go ahead. What were you going to say?
Well, and so previously we talked about, I truly believe this, but I think I've shifted a little bit, like watching this defense and I thought it was detrimental, obviously, to recruiting. But I think now it's gotten so bad that recruits know Grinch is gone. Like you know he's not going to be there. Like if I'm a dad of a kid and Lincoln Riley or Dante Williams is in my living room, I'm telling them straight up, my kid's not playing for you unless you have a new DC. And so unless those coaches are like, yeah, we're moving on, like you have to know that, right? Like, and so I think being at this game and these top recruits saying like, oh man, I'm going to be starting on this defense next year, and we're going to be taking the LA by storm because of how bad it's been, and now we can make it even subpar better. Like we'll be the kings of LA. If I'm a defender that can do anything to slow guys down, we'll be good. So and that's all just hearsay, but I just think it's at this point. I think it's okay. I think because there's changes coming, and like you said, you can be the guy to come in and maybe fix it.
Right. A WE. I played 1AA, but I felt the same way. Watch, see. So where'd you play WE? Just curious. Where'd you play 1AA ball at? 1AA D1 is D1. If you're good enough, they would have found you to play in the NFL. I hate when people are like, oh, I only played. No. So did Jerry Rice. So did Terrell Owens. You know what I mean? There's a lot of guys that play 1AA. Problem with NIL is that SC don't play that game with high school recruits. Is this true, Ryan? I've been seeing that a lot.
Yeah, it's something they're working on, but they don't play it like the SEC where they just go and offer high school kids. I mean, once you're in the program, that's where House of Victory and Conquest Collective really gets involved. But it has not been a factor in recruiting like some of the other big schools do, whether that's agreeable or not. But yeah, it hasn't. I think it's something that's something that Jen Cohen, new AD, is really sinking her teeth into, because that's one of her big initiatives, is even more revamping the NIL. But at this point, from what I've heard and from what we've seen, it hasn't been a recruiting tool like at the Georgias, Alabamas, Michigans, and stuff like that.
That's been a recruited tool at Georgia's, Alabama's, LSU,
Yeah,
all that stuff.
for
Even
decades.
before NIL.
For decades, yeah.
Let's see. Did Bear Alexander have a playlist at Georgia? No. But Bear Alexander is only a sophomore. He wasn't going to start in front of those guys that went in the first round. Like, that's the thing you guys forget. Like, Bear Alexander is 19 years old. He's still a teenager. You know what I mean? Like, he hasn't even got his grown man body yet. Like, I like Bear, and I think Bear has upside. Like, let's give Bear. Let's do this, you guys. Like, let's be realistic. Sophomore and below, let's just be patient on them. Like, let them develop. Like, we get so hard on like these teenagers who ain't even got grown man weight on them yet. And you know,
Braylon Shelby is another one. Like,
number 34.
Braylon, I think he's going to be good, but he should not be out in coverage. Like, that's just not who he is, and so that's not his fault.
He's 18. He's a true freshman.
Like, you're an end rusher. You're getting after the quarterback. That's your job.
Yeah. Tackett Curtis, like, let Tackett Curtis grow. Like, let's sophomore and below. These kids are 19. Let them get some grown man weight in a weight room, and then we could junior and up. We'll start talking about them. But Bear Alexander's 19. I think you guys forget that. Like, everybody's mad at him because he started crying. He's a kid. He's still a teenager. He can't even buy a drink or tobacco products in the state of California. All he could do is play lotto. You know what I mean? Like,
who?
Bear Alexander.
Oh, Bear, yeah.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, easy, guys. Like, let's easy on these teenagers. You know what I mean? Like, Austin P. Oh, let's go P. I coached with a guy who went to P. Did you play with Buddy Mitchell at Austin P? I played with a guy who went to P. Let's see. But recruits also want to be developed for the next level. That's why they go to UGA and Bama. That goes into that. That's a good point, because me and a guy on our network who does fantasy football, we always have this argument about they teach in college and they coach in the pros, right? You learn how to play. So that is a good point. That's true.
I mean, that's why Dakota Fields flipped from SC to Oregon. He straight up said, I felt like I had a better shot getting the NFL. So, but that's why I think now, that was a few weeks ago. Now the writing's on the wall. Grinch is gone. So that's why it's not as big of an issue.
Don't forget his brother has been hurt twice at SE. Injuries happen everywhere, but Zach wants to win a Heisman. Does he really see it happen at USC? You have to coddle these kids now or they leave. Oh, Zach ain't leaving SC. Don't worry. Don't worry about that. Zach is going to win. I can't say Zach is going to win a Heisman, but Zach will be in Heisman talks. You know what I mean? Like, Zach's not leaving SC. If Zach's talking about leaving SC, I'll go down there and I'll find Reggie, I'll find Matt, I'll find Carson. We'll make sure Zach stays at SC. Like, we'll have Marcus Allen, OJ. Like, he'll have a Heisman huddle. You know what I mean? Like, hey, don't leave here. You have a shot. How do we couple yesterday's loss? Get through it today and flush it. I mean, there's not much we could do. Just get through today and flush it. The season's not going the way we're going, but it is what it is. So. Any more questions? Any more questions? A couple more questions. We've been on here for not that bad.
Yeah, we'll wrap this up.
Yep. Any more questions? Last questions before we wrap and get going. And we actually did a good job, so we have a lot to talk about tomorrow. Questions going once. Questions going twice. I wanted to see what my brother said about what I said with recruiting. I want to see his opinion. You know what I mean? Because I was already in college when he went through his recruiting process. So I don't, and we really didn't talk. Like I let him make his decision. So I wanted to see his thoughts and opinions when he was being recruited.
Mm-hmm.
Does our strength and conditioning coach teach yoga and meditation? I don't know. I don't know. All right. Question. I've been a Trojan fan since 1980. What I see now is these kids love the Cali lifestyle more than they love the Trojan lifestyle. It used to mean something to put that uniform on. You're right, because you should see that change. Zach Branch will love the Trojan lifestyle because he's a freshman. Tyken Curtis will love being a Trojan. Number 34, give me his name one more time.
Braylon Shelby, yeah.
Braden Shelby will love being a Trojan because they're there as freshmen. When you bring
Damani
guys
Jackson.
in, Damani Jackson, yeah, all those guys will love being a Trojan because they will experience it. When you bring guys in that's only going to be there for about 6 months, it's a little bit hard because they don't understand. Travis Dye did a good job. He's Travis Dye, and I hope my brother's watching this, legit said in an interview he liked being at SC more than he was at Oregon because he liked the SC lifestyle. So, you know, you may get it for some people, but with the transfer portal, it makes it hard. As a freshman, you do get that opportunity. Is Grinch?
Yeah, it's just a different college football now. I think that's the thing that, you know, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just different. Like, I don't know. I do agree though. When you bring guys in as freshmen, that's how you do rebuild that Trojan lifestyle. But the transfer portal is not going anywhere, so those guys can leave if they're not going to. You're not going to have the Matt Finks, right, that just rode the bench as a QB forever, got their one shine against Utah, and we're just like diehard Cardinal and gold because those guys just move on and go play somewhere else.
Yeah.
To his credit, though, your guy Miller Moss has done that, and he's a true Trojan. Graduated already. He loves it.
Next year, Miller Moss. Next year is Miller Moss's shot. Let's go, Miller. I'm in your corner. Don't let me down. Do you know the answer to this one?
I can look. I should know this one. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and then we can wrap up here.
Travis Dye from the IE. Didn't he hear the recruiting part?
Yeah, I went to Norco, right?
I think so. Answer the question, Kenny. What was it like? So how do you, real quick, before we wrap up, so we get this question. As a recruit, if you see that that a defense is bad and they're recruiting you hard to go there, does that make you want to go there because you know you can start as a freshman, or was it more of that for you? Answer that real quick, and we'll wrap it up.
And it was 9 missed tackles last night.
We got better.
Wasn't double digits.
Love your show. What's the odds Grinch is going by Monday? 0.00000000001.
But he'll be gone after the season. After Victory Bell stays at the Coliseum, he'll be gone.
Question: what exactly does Lauren Singer bring us? I'd rather see Jacoby Lane.
That's a frustrating one.
It just didn't work out. Same thing with Mario Williams. Okay, so I'm gonna explain this to you too. I want you guys to listen. Listen to this one. Just listen. Every recruit's not going to work out. Everything is not going to work out. Dorian Singer just didn't work out. Mario Williams just didn't work out, right? And that's okay. You're going to miss. You know what I mean? You're not going to hit all the time. So those are the things you got to look at. Just because Dorian Singer was good at Arizona doesn't mean he was going to come to USC, because it just didn't work out. So if you get 100%, Alabama doesn't even have 100% recruiting class success, right? So those are the things that make sense. Ryan, we did not get a good answer from this clown. No, would make me want to go there.
What'd you expect? What'd you expect?
He's making a turducken for Thanksgiving, so
I might. Yep. At your place or where at?
Yeah, at my place.
Well, I may be stopping by.
He's gonna smoke it. Question: where can I find your whiteboard episode?
So I'll have to make it out there.
Oh yeah, just shoot right down to 71. Question: where can I find your whiteboard episode on solving the defense? Oh boy. If you give me one moment, Lamont, I will look for it right now. You should be subscribed because
it's in the title. So one of the titles says whiteboard session.
Yep.
I mean, Coach does it almost every episode now. We get a little.
Yeah,
in
but he
there.
wants to know. He wants to know the one from where we solved it. And I'm going to look right now. If you subscribe and watch every week, then you'll be able to know where it is. Now I'll just give you a hard time. Videos. Let's see. The very first
Yeah, we'll
one.
wrap up while you're looking for that. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Tough loss, obviously 52-42. We'll have a full breakdown tomorrow night's show. Don't worry, Eddie. Candace will be there. Jamal should be there. So we'll get some thoughts and go throughout the week and see how this team prepares for Oregon.
Thank you for subscribing, Lamont. I was just giving you a hard time.
Hey, is Kenny going to come on the show this week for this Oregon matchup?
Kenny, you want to come on the show this week? You want to come on we record on Thursday at 7.
Let's get him on.
His wife is an Oregon Duck too, so I mean she might want to jump on too. You and K-Dog could come on.
Let's do it. We need some cross enemy lines.
Hey Lamont, I can't find it right now, and I don't want to take up too much time. That at Coach_Row2 is my Twitter. If you have Twitter, DM me right now, and then DM me and be like, hey, just say, hey, this is me. DM me right now, or here. Oh, Kenny said sure. So Thursday at 7, Kenny will come on. I'll put my Instagram also if you have Instagram. Let's see what time you normally come on, especially for the Monday show. The Monday show is not live; it's recorded. So it comes on the Monday show that we record comes on Tuesdays, and we record on Thursday. It drops on Friday. So Ryan normally puts it out about midday on Monday. So just look for the notification, and I will. And we should, and you should be able to see it. Also on Twitter, if you follow us on Twitter, we retweet it. So then, here I will put my Instagram right here in the comments for you guys. And then Lamont, just hit me up and I'll find that episode for you.
There you go. Marketing man.
That is my that's my Instagram. And then my Twitter is Coach_Row2. So yeah. We'll just do it that way. And then just hit me up, DM me on either one, and I'll find that episode for you and I'll get it over to you. One last question. We'll get one last question, Ryan, before NFL Sunday starts. One last question. We'll pick the one more. Come on. You guys give me one last question. One good one. A really good one. I want a good one. One last question. Come on. I know we have to wait for the internet to come through. Come on. You guys, I know you guys have a good one.
Here's your question. Are the Rams going to win right now?
Yes.
The Rams beat the Packers with Brett Rippon at quarterback.
Yeah. I think the Rams defense is really good.
I think for what they got, I think Raheem Morris is coaching his butt off. I don't know why this guy still gets so much crap.
That's a conversation off air.
Yeah.
That's a conversation. Here's a question for you. Are we? That's not a good one, Eddie. That we could do better than that. That's not a good one. That's an obvious question. Are we going to do a signing day show in December?
Heck yeah, we are. Yeah.
Are we going to do the full day like we talked about?
That'd be fun. What is it? December 20th this year?
Something like that. If it's December 20th, that's even better.
I think it's December 20th, which is funny. That's the now like the big one. The February one isn't even as big. Now it's all about the December one.
Are we going to do? Here we go.
You know what's interesting? This is a random thought, and I don't want to sound like I'm talking crap, but all the love that Colorado and Coach Prime got for what they're building. They're currently ranked 65th recruiting next year. So
yeah,
SC's getting a lot of crap, and they're 19th. I'm like, come on.
Yeah, nobody wants to go there. All right, here's the next question. Are we going to have all the college guys on there? Or are we going to do separate shows? So are we going to mix the Bruins and the Trojans together, or are we going to have separate shows? That's something for you to think about.
Yeah, probably separate.
Okay. You're going to have to we won't have Jamal. It'll probably just be me and you because I'll take the day off and then we'll do it.
And that'd be a blast. Let's plan for it. So,
all right, here we go. That's a good question. Thanks, Dat fan. This is our last one, and we're going to wrap up. I'm going to wrap it up right now. This has been the Salute Detroit Bet Online Salute Detroit podcast. Trojans lose, not so victory Sunday. We're going to end it up with this question. If you're NFL GM, which quarterback would you draft based on the game last night? If I'm the Bears, I am drafting Caleb Williams. If I am, who's number 2 right now? Who's number 2 right now?
I think the Bears. I think they have 1.
Oh, Bears have 1 and 2. Who's 3?
Arizona, I think.
If I'm the Cardinals, I'm taking Caleb Williams again. I'm taking Caleb Williams again if I'm the Cardinals. No.
I'm still at this point. If I'm any team, I'm probably taking Caleb.
If I'm the Cardinals, I don't
The
know which
upside's
direction
just
they're
higher.
going.
The upside's just higher.
Okay. There you go, Dad. Hope that helps you out. Hey, you guys, like, subscribe, tell some friends. Hope your team wins this Sunday. We're going to Autzen next Saturday. Tuesday, we'll have the show out about last night's thoughts. Hope you guys log in to tune in. Friday, we will have the pregame show. It will feature my brother. He's going to come behind enemy lines, who played for Oregon. We're actually a year apart, so we played against each other. That was the Mark Sanchez pick game, and the dude ran the ball down the sideline through that Pete.
Nice.
So, yep.
Hey, it was last thing I'll say as we sign off. It was like there was some rivalry made last night. It was fun. The players were chirping. There was a lot of taunting, if you will. So it was like, all right, I mean, these teams aren't going anywhere. They play next year again in the Big Ten.
Oh, there we go. So that works out. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate you. Everything you guys do. We say this all the time. We would not be able to do this without you. I just ask a big favor. Go tell 2 friends. Those 2 friends tell 2 friends. We're going to create a, what do you call it? MLM, so we can get this thing growing. We love all your support. We appreciate it. I know you guys watch YouTube channels, and they always say that. And being on this side now, we get it. We wouldn't be able to do this without you. Every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday is because of you guys, and we really appreciate it. This has been the Bet Online Salute to Troy podcast. Not So Victory Sunday. Trojan Zoos 52-42. We'll get better. See you guys next time. Live free, fight on.